Hello students, I'm going to take your Monday's class, that is on 29th of June. I think Ma'am Nirmali had already discussed the whole syllabus with you, and you are going to have two texts including grammar. From the text snapshot, you are going to cover two chapters, that is Ranga's marriage and Albert Einstein at school, and I'm going to deal with Ranga's marriage. And from your hornbill, you are going to have many chapters. From that, I'm going to teach you portrait of a lady, a photograph, ailing planet, childhood, and of course the grammar section. So in Monday's class, we will discuss an elaborate discussion. We will have an elaborate discussion of our appropriate use of prepositions. As you all know that there are 9 parts of speech, and from that preposition is one of its part, and so we will have a proper and elaborate discussion of use of preposition, where to use correct preposition in a sentence. So you can see, before going to start the class, it is very important to know how many kinds of preposition are there. So I have prepared a chart here. You can find that there are 3 different kinds of prepositions. First is simple preposition, second is compound preposition, and third is participle preposition. And also we have another type of preposition, and that is called phrasal preposition. At first we will discuss simple preposition. I've given some example of simple preposition. You can see simple preposition: at, by, for, from, in, of, on, up, down, with, through, over, under, near, to, fill, since. So these are different types of simple preposition. Next, we will come to compound preposition. Some different types of compound preposition are above, about, before, below, behind, beneath, between, beyond, across, inside, into, outside, with, without, until. So these are different types of compound preposition. Next, we have participle preposition. These are during, considering, owing, regarding, pending, concerning. And in prepositional phrases, it include in order to, according to, in spite of, instead of, by dint of, by means of, and also there are some other words like in charge of, in honor of, in front of, instead of, in the guise of, in the hope of, in regard to, on account to. This type of phrases are called prepositional phrases, which we have to use according to the convenience of the question. Based on its use, prepositions are mainly divided into 3 types. They are simple preposition, compound preposition, phrasal prepositions, participle preposition is there. So accordingly, we have to use it. So as you have already seen it, that how many types of preposition are there, what are the different types of preposition, isn't it? So now let's come to the use of preposition. So if I give you a term, agree to and agree with, okay? If a sentence is given, you have to put put the preposition to, and before that to, the word agree is there. So now where you are going to put exactly the word and in your option you have to and with. So where you are going to use it properly. So see, agree to and agree with, okay? These are the term, and we use agree to in case of person's idea. Okay, so for example, I cannot agree with your proposal. That proposal is another person's idea. So we will use agree to in case of a person's idea, proposal, or a suggestion. And we will use agree with when it is used in case of a 2 person. When a person is involved with it, at that point of time, we use agree with. Okay. And another example is that deal in and deal with, where we will use the correct preposition deal in and where we will use the correct preposition deal with. Deal in is usually used in case of commercial sector, okay? In case of money, in case of commerce, in case of business, we use deal in. And deal with is used in when we deal with a person. When two person is involved or more than that, we use the preposition deal with. So don't forget, deal in is generally used in commercial sector, money, business, okay? And deal with, we generally use it in case of a person, okay? We got a two example. First was agree to. Agree to is used in case of a proposal, idea, or a suggestion. Agree with is used in terms of a to agree with is used when two persons are there. And secondly, again we use deal in and deal with when we deal in is used in case of commerce, business, money, and all that. Deal with is again used when two persons are involved with it. And another example I want to give you, when we use the word to and towards. When at what circumstance do we use the word to and when we use the word towards? To is generally used to give a proper direction in terms of when we use the word in slash, that is to and towards. When we are going to use the word to and when we are going to use the word towards. To is generally used when we use to give a proper direction of it. When a definite direction we are bound to it, then we use the word to. And towards is used when we may not have a proper direction, okay? At that time we use the word towards. Then again, coming to another example, in and into. When we will use the word in and into. In is generally used in regard to rest. When the thing or a person is in completely rest, then we use the word in. And into is used when the whole thing or a person is in motion, then we will use the preposition into. Then coming to another example, when we will use at, in, or on. In terms of place, okay? In terms of place, when we will use the preposition at or in. So at is generally used with villages and small town. Remember, at preposition at or in terms of or in regard to place, we will use in for small villages and small districts or small town, we will use the preposition at. And in, it is generally used for big towns, districts, states, and countries, and for that purposes we will use the preposition in. We have got four different uses of preposition. So in case of accident, we have to use died in. In case of sickness, then we have to use died of. In case of a good cause. Another set of preposition is between and among. When we use the word between and among, between is generally used to indicate or it is used in regard to two person or things, distribution of things between the two person. That is, only two person or things will be involved in case of between. And among is used in regard to more than two person or things. When more than two person or things are involved, in that case we will use the word among. Then another example, beside and besides. When do we use the word besides and besides? First, beside is B-E-S-I-D-E, beside, and second one is B-E-S-I-D-E-S. Only a word makes the whole thing a different one, isn't it? Beside and besides. First beside is used, that first beside indicate, that means by the side of. I will sit beside you, that means by the side of. And when you put the word as, besides means beside this, what does that actually mean? That means in addition to. Besides ice cream, I want to eat chocolates, isn't it? So that when you put the word s in beside, that indicate in addition to. That means beside this you want to do that also. Okay, now let's come to another example. In and within. When a sentence is given, suppose I shall return dash week. I shall return dash a week. Then which preposition we are going to use? So you can use the preposition in also and within also. When you use the preposition in, what it will indicate? It will indicate in is actually used, and it indicate that the time period is completely coming to an end. Okay, in indicates completely to an end, and within, that means before the time period. So I shall return in a week, that indicated in a week there are 7 days. That means out of that 7 days, when you are returning, that it will be like almost a weekend, the time period with almost an end. But within, it indicates before the time period, before the time gets over, when you return to your place, to your destination, that indicates within. Okay, another set of preposition is in and on. When you use the word preposition in, and where you will use the preposition on. On is generally used in case of your days and dates. Okay, like on Thursday, on Monday, on Tuesday. In that case, you will use the preposition on. And also to indicate the dates and years, you will use the preposition on. And in is generally used in case of months, in case of weeks, and in case of years, you will use the preposition in. So these are some of the few examples I have discussed today. If you have any doubts and queries, you can ask me on Monday's class. তোমালোকৰ যদি কিবা ডাউট আৰু কোৱাৰি কিবা যদি আছে সুধিবলগীয়া আছে, এই ভিডিঅ'টো যদি কিবা মই দিয়া কেইটামান এক্সাম্পলৰ ভিতৰত যদি তোমালোকে কিবা বুজি পোৱা নাই, তেন্তে তোমালোকে মোক মানডে ক্লাছত সুধিব পাৰিবা। আৰু মই আচলতে কেইটামান এক্সাম্পলহে তোমালোকক দিছোঁ, আৰু বহুতখিনি আমাৰ কৰিবলগীয়া আছে। আৰু আহিবলগীয়া যিকেইটা আমাৰ ক্লাছ আছে, আমি সেই ক্লাছবিলাকত আমি সকলোখিনি ডিছকাছ কৰিম, ভালকৈ এনালাইজ কৰিম, তোমালোকৰ ডাউটছবিলাক ক্লিয়াৰ কৰিম। আৰু তেতিয়ালৈকে ভিডিঅ'টো চাবা, আৰু যিকেইটা এক্সাম্পল দিছোঁ তাৰ মাজতে যদি তোমালোকৰ কিবা কোৱাৰিজ আছে, সেইকেইটা তোমালোকে মোক মানডে ক্লাছত সুধিব পাৰিবা। অ'কে, থেংক ইউ।